This is a dish that will feed like 6 to 8 people. Yes, this is a dish that has chicken. Yes, this is a dish that has fish. But it's the smell of this sausage that fills the house, in my opinion. You get quick at things when you use your hands a lot. How hard was that? Just cut them up into 1-inch pieces. All right, we got this all going in the pan. Everything will just sort of continue. All the flavors will continue to mingle. Just so you can see what we got here. Perfect temperature for serving. There's still steam coming off of it. All the rice is nicely plumped up. Hey, it's Greg here at MaritimeGardening.com, and today I'm going to make a dish called Jambalaya. It's a mishmash of rice with lots of vegetables, and the way I like to do it, it's got chicken and fish and sausage. It's a really tasty dish if you do it right. And you need a lot of ingredients, but it's not hard to do at all. It's kind of like a one-pot rice dish, right? I just remembered another ingredient at the last minute. So what do you need to make this? You need some chicken. It's nice to have some stock, but it's not necessary if you have some chicken. You need peppers, celery, onion, garlic, tomato, some kind of fish. I got cod here, some kind of chicken. You also need, I like chorizo. You can use whatever you've got. Any kind of sausage will do, but the more intense and flavorful it is, the better. And a little bit of bacon. Get the burner on, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Normally, I would like to use more bacon than this, but this is what I got today. So this is what I'm going to use. So maybe like 2 strips of bacon, up to 4 strips of bacon. And you can use whatever you got, right? So I got the bacon on the stove. It's a technique of removing the bone. This is a thigh, right? You just sort of pull, right? So there's the bone. And you throw the bone in there. Now I got this thigh with the skin. I just cut this up into small chunks, you know, like, I don't know, 1/2 inch chunks sort of thing. Okay, now you can see. Sorry about that, had the camera in the wrong position. I need it at one height to see my face, but other than that, it's too high. So you just sort of push against the bone, and the bone sort of rolls off like that. Right, there's your bone. So now we got a combination of skin and flesh. I mean, you can remove the skin if you're trying to lower the fat, but then you won't have as much mass of flesh. The skin adds so much flavor. I think the skin off two thighs. This is a dish that will feed like, 6 to 8 people. Okay, so it's like a dish for 4. I got a family of 4 with leftovers. But you can stretch it further. All right, there's the rest of my chicken there. Now, onion. I think it's the next thing to do. We got a lot of stuff in the pan. If we don't add this onion, it's going to burn a little bit. So add some onion as quickly as you can. As quick as you can get the onion in there, add the onion. You can tell this came right out of the garden. Still got some dirt on it. A little bit of dirt in our food won't kill us. Only make it stronger, right? All right, so we're just dicing that up, and that to be perfect. Doesn't matter what kind of onion you use. I'm sure there's some that are better than others. This is just a kind of yellow onion. I think the variety from my garden is called Styrian. Onion set. That's what I got, so that's what's going in. I just noticed I had a red onion as well, so why not throw that in there as well? All right. This is actually a variety of onion that I grow for green onions, but late in the season, it creates a bulb, so you can use that as an onion. So, you know, in the late spring, summer, you get the onion greens to use in your salads and omelets and stuff. Then you got nice red onion to use in your salads, but also in your cooked dishes. All right, so now we got the onion and the chicken and the, we haven't got the garlic. Let's do the garlic. Got the onion and the chicken, just frying up. This is what you want because you want to get some of that fat out of the chicken to use that to fry the rest of the meal. I mean, there's lots of ways you can lower the fat in your food. You can cook the chicken by itself and drain the fat off and all that sort of stuff. That's up to you. I'm going for flavor here, so I want that fat. The fat off of 2 chicken thighs for a dish for 8 people, I don't think it's too crazy, but it all depends on what you like, or maybe what your doctor's orders are, what stage in life you're in, all that sort of stuff. And we can dice this garlic up finer, but it doesn't really matter. Right, it's all going in the pot. We're going to add rice to this eventually, and all the flavor is going to intermingle in that water. All right, there's our garlic. I'm going to use about half of this stick of chorizo. It's like a child-proof packaging here, so it's hopeless. There we go. All right, so we'll just cut that right down the middle. This is really, really dense sausage. It's got a lot of flavor. And I find about this much. I got about 4 inches. I'm going to cut it up really fine. These are almost like 1/8 of an inch slices, like 1 millimeter, that sort of thing. 1 or 2 millimeters. And you want it like that so there's little bits of it all over the place in the food. The flavor gets in there. The smell of this, I mean, yes, this is a dish that has chicken. Yes, this is a dish that has fish. But it's the smell of this sausage that fills the house, in my opinion. All right, so I'm stopping from time to time to just stir that around. Now we got our holy trinity for southern cooking. We got some celery here. I could use the lovage from my garden, but I got this stuff in the house. I got to use that. So we got some celery. It's about, I don't know, half a cup of celery. And we got the onion already. Holy trinity is celery, onion, pepper. We got these lovely peppers from the garden. This is sweet Italia pepper. Just remove that white stuff and the seeds. These are not a spicy pepper. These are a sweet pepper. You can use a spicy pepper if you want, but I'm just going to add some of this to get a little heat into it. Also, we put Cajun seasoning in this. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can make a jambalaya, but it's the easiest if you haven't got a broad array of spices in your house. I do, but I like the way the Cajun seasoning tastes in this. That's all I use. All right, so you can use 1 pepper, you can use 2. It's up to you. I'm going to use 2 just because I got a lot of peppers coming out of the garden right now. You got to use it. I'm going to have one red and 1 green. These are both the same variety of pepper. So they're both sweet Italia pepper. This is just a pepper that hasn't fully matured yet. They all become red eventually if they're left on the vine long enough. They'll all start to take on color. Now, if this seems to be going quickly, that's because I've worked on these skills over the course of a lifetime. I'm going to keep my knife sharp. Very important. Keep the knife sharp. Use a chef's knife. Learn to use a chef's knife. Learn how to move quickly without cutting your hands. I would say 90% of time it takes to cook food is just these processing skills. There's lots of different ways to make this. I'm only using a cup of rice in this. There's so much stuff in this that by the time the rice swells up, we got a cup of rice and 2 cups of water. It's going to fill the entire pan. We're going to have all these different flavors in there. It's going to be fantastic. Let me just stir that for a second. Okay, now I cut up this tomato. It's a beautiful beefsteak style tomato. It's a different variety. It's a hybrid version of beefsteak from the garden. Everything here is from the garden except the celery. My wife bought some celery, so now I'm using it. But I've got lovage in my garden, which is a kind of perennial celery, so I technically don't need to buy celery, but every once in a while we want, you know, celery with, you know, peanut butter in it. I like that a lot. So kind of celery I grow doesn't really work for putting peanut butter on. You just use it for the leaves. It has a very, very, very strong flavor. Anyway, there's our tomato. So you can see we're adding so much to this dish. So now, oh yeah, beans too, right? We got beans. So this is one of those dishes, to me, you want some, again, you don't have to do this. I like a handful of beans like that. I like green beans because I like the way it looks, but you can use any kind of beans you got. Just cut them up into like 1-inch pieces, that sort of thing. These are from the garden. I'm still getting beans out of my garden and it's October, can you believe it? I got plenty left over. But that's about enough for this dish. You can put anything else in there as well. So now this is all the things that need to be cut up. I got a bit of fish there, I got to process that. Some chilies, some thyme, some oregano, and the Cajun sauce. And I like to put 2 tablespoons of fish sauce in. This is stuff you use for like Chinese cooking and a lot of other culinary styles. I like it in this. It just gets it over the top for me. Alright, so everything needs a little bit more time to cook. So I'm going to prep up this fish while I'm waiting. So to me, I like to cut the fish when everything's in the pan. You add the fish at the last minute. And I like to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. This is a whitefish cod, very flavorful, but it falls apart. So you put it on top, and that way people can lift it out and put it on their plate, and they can get a nice chunk of fish. And this is cod I caught in the ocean in a boat. Just like that. And that's all you need to do with that. But that's ready to go. Cod's all ready. Some people like a little bit of shrimp. So I mean, I got 4, there's 4 of us, there's 4 shrimp, okay? Let me show you how to deal with these shrimp. A lot of people buy their shrimp that's already been peeled, but it's a lot cheaper to buy it like this. And if you're into deep sea fishing, you can use these heads for bait, excellent bait for certain kinds of fish. Okay, now what you do with these is you got a nice sharp knife and you make a cut along the top here. You can use scissors for this, but you just make a cut along the top there, like that. And you squeeze off the bottom, and you squeeze off that. In the sink, you're going to wash that, what they call vein, out, right? Let me show you that again. Just go in there like that with your knife, fry it up a little bit. You're just breaking the shell on the back there. And you squeeze off the tail, and you squeeze the legs, and you pick out that vein. Okay, so it looks like a lot of work, but I'm only using 4 here. So if there's any more than 4, I make my teenagers do it. Right? And that's how you do that. And it teaches them some life skills and save you the work. Right? So, but anyway, it's pretty quick, right? You get quick at things when you use your hands a lot. How hard was that? I'm just going to go in the sink and wash these off. Everything in the pan right now is starting to burn on a little bit, so I'm going to put all this wet stuff in there to free that all up. While that's happening, I'll just cut this shrimp up a bit. That way everybody's got a little, right, there's sort of a little bit of shrimp everywhere in the pan, in the dish. Just a way of stretching your shrimp. It's not cheap these days. It used to be cheap, now it isn't. This way we only using 4 shrimp, but it's a little bit of shrimp everywhere. Alright, we got this all going in the pan. Just probing around to make sure nothing's stuck, right? Just scrape it off if it is, but with adding the tomato, it should come loose. At this stage, we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. All right. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this fish sauce. You don't have to add this, but I think it makes a big difference. 1, 2. Some people hate this stuff. I love it. Go with a teaspoon of paprika. It just deepens the color. And we're going to have just two level tablespoons of Cajun spice. Want a little more heat, you can add some hot sauce or like a pinch of chilies or more, depends on what you're going for. The Cajun sauce I have here, I've used it enough to know that it's got some heat itself. So, you know, I don't want to blow my family's heads off. So, you know, put a little bit more in. I like it hotter than everybody else here. So, gotta be careful with what I do. Alright, that's all in good there. Now I'm going to add my rice. Almost forgot before I add the rice. I like to add a little thyme to this, about a teaspoon of dried thyme I think is nice. Also, maybe like a heaping teaspoon of oregano and a bay leaf. Almost forgot that. I'll put all these ingredients in the description box, right? I think like maybe 1, 2. I always put 3 bay leaves in. I think it's good luck, but who knows. Alright, there's our bay leaves. We're almost sort of done here. So when I do this, I just add a cup of rice. That's it. And whatever type of rice you use, get, you know, whatever your ratio of rice to water is, but this one is 2 to 1. I know there's lots of water in here already, but I'm still adding 2 cups of water. I'm not measuring it precisely. You see I'm using a dry measure cup to measure the water, but it'll all be fine. Okay, so what I want to do now is just sort of move the rice around so there's rice everywhere. Get all these different flavors, get those bay leaves down in the liquid so they can steep and, you know, add their flavor. This whole thing, bay leaves are important. You know, bay leaves, it still tastes good, but just better with the bay leaves, right? Everything in this dish, lots of these things you can leave out. You can leave out the chicken, you can leave out the fish, you can leave out the shrimp, right? There's lots of things you can skip if you're missing something. Missing 1 or 2 things, it doesn't matter. But if you want good results, best flavor, add everything. Now let's add that fish. So as the water is coming up to temperature, I just arrange the fish like this. Okay, the flavor from the fish will go in to the rest of it. And the way we cook this, you bring it to a really hard boil, then you put the lid on, and then you simmer for, I don't know, 15 minutes, that sort of thing. Then you turn the heat off, leave the lid on, and leave it on the stove for like a good half an hour or more. Just let it stay on the burner, but you turned it off. And everything will just sort of continue, all the flavors will continue to mingle, but it'll all be cooked. It'll be cooked after 15 minutes. So that's all it takes to cook rice. But you want to give it time to rest and for all the rice to absorb as much water as it possibly can and all the different flavors to mingle. What I'm doing now is just letting this come to a really hard boil. This is important, okay? I mean, you can do this a little bit here and there just to make sure that you're not got some sort of little like dry pocket. For some reason things need to be agitated, or even with all this water, stuff can burn on. So this is a way of stirring it without mashing up the fish, right? Like I've just done there. Just moving it like that a little bit. That will keep it from burning on when you've got that burner cranked. I got it at like 3/4 from full. I don't have it on high, but it's at 3/4, and it's been at 3/4 for this entire thing. This pan is a carbon steel pan, not cast iron, not Teflon, not aluminum. It's a steel pan. It's just like a wok, only it's flat bottom. You can use any pan you can do this in, stainless steel, whatever you use, whatever you've got. I just like this because it's sort of an ideal type of pan for the type of burner I got on this stove. What I'm looking for, see, I got a nice boil here, but I don't have a boil everywhere. And this is like threatening to stick on a bit because I get so much heat. So I'm just moving this around, agitating it a little bit, trying to get that boil everywhere in the pan. That's what I'm trying to make happen. That way I know the heat's distributed everywhere and the rice is going to cook properly. Notice it's starting to bubble over here, a little bit of bubbling over here, a little bit over here. Okay, so I say that's close enough. So now I'm going to turn the heat down to about 1/4, put the lid on. I'll set the timer for 15 minutes, and then when the timer goes off, I'll turn the burner off and let it just sit here for, I don't know, half an hour, even an hour. Now you can turn the burner off, put a few cloths over this, not in the way that causes a fire, but add an extra lid or whatever. There's different ways you can insulate a pan, but just let it sit. You could also put it in the oven at a really low temperature, like 150, if you want to let it sit for a long time. But you turn this burner off and leave this lid on. Take a cloth like this and just, put it like that over the top. Not in a way that causes a fire, okay? But it'll still be a good temperature for eating an hour from doing that. Anyway, 15 minutes like this, then turn the burner off, let it sit for half an hour. You're gonna have a beautiful dish. That's all you gotta do to make jambalaya. All right, so it's been 15 minutes, and I just wanted to show you what I mean by, so I'm turning the burner off, okay? And what I mean by leaving this on the burner, but setting up some way where it can sort of incubate and you're holding the heat and you're kind of insulating the pan. This is not complicated. So the burner's off, and I got a dish towel here that I've folded, okay? Now I got a mixing bowl. I put that over the dish towel. And then I just sort of tuck, there's little bits of the towel sticking out. I just tuck them in. Just creating an insulator, right? So now I got this mixing bowl, stainless steel mixing bowl, upside down, over the lid of the pan with the tea towel on top. And the burner's off. So I've got insulation, I'm trapping heat, and this is still, you can hear it if you listen. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's still stuff going on in there, and there will be stuff going on. Like, it's going to continue to cook for at least 10-15 minutes, even though we get the heat off. But because the heat's off, nothing's going to burn on. All those flavors are just going to mix. All right. So I'll show you what this looks like just before we serve it. But other than that, we're done here. All right, here we have the final product for the jambalaya. Just so you can see what we got here. It's been sitting, this has actually been sitting for an hour, but you can see the steam coming off. I don't know if you can see that, but it's perfect temperature for serving. There's still steam coming off of it. All the rice is nicely plumped up, and there's no, like if we see at the bottom here, all the liquid's been taken up by the rice and everything else. So it's the right texture. All right, so I'm just gonna serve this up for dinner, but beautiful jambalaya. Lots of different ways to make this. It's sort of a poor man's paella, because saffron costs a small fortune. Hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. Check out my articles at maritimegardening.substack.com. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden, have fun in your kitchen. Thanks for watching.